Welcome back. Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
Welcome back to another episode of Unframe of Mine. I'm your host, Lee. This is also Daniel.
Also Daniel. Yes, I'm also host.
Yes,
Daniel.
also. I suck at introductions.
Okay, so what do we do now?
I don't know. What's going on?
So there's a huge topic I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and it kind of keeps getting backburnered, so we'll go ahead and just throw it at you now.
We're going to talk about Bitcoin and you.
Cryptocurrencies.
Whatever. We're talking about Bitcoin because that's the biggest one.
That's the big one.
We'll talk
Bitcoin.
about other coins too.
Have you heard of Bitcoin?
No, Daniel. I haven't heard of Bitcoin.
Yes, you
What
have,
is it?
You lying sack of shit. I have been interested in Bitcoin for quite some time, and to we really need to kind of give a huge overview of what it is, what can you use it for, why it's good.
I just asked that. I want to know.
I'm giving the glossary, if you will, the table of contents, if you will, of what you're to expect in the next few minutes here. You're a dick. So cryptocurrencies rather, is a new, not really that new, anyway. Let's see if I can explain this the best I can because there's so much to it. Basically, Bitcoin is a way that people can exchange value digitally without being backed by any kind of third-party monetary system like the US dollar or like the Chinese yen.
Wait, the US dollar's backed by something besides hopes and dreams? What?
Well, that's just it. So what it is it's a community thing where kind of everybody owns it and nobody owns it. It's a decentralized monetary system, which is going to be the future of money. Come hell or high water, I don't care who you are. This current archaic system we have going on right now,
we're calling it now,
will fall apart. And there's mathematically it can't continue the way we're going anyway, especially as we
end the Fed.
Yeah, we keep driving ourselves into multiple $1 trillion worth of debt, crippling. It's insane. Anyway, so basically, give you a brief history. Kind of my experience with Bitcoin is I have been following it for quite a few years, and
still hasn't bought any.
I still haven't bought any. Yeah, that's a shame. Because really, just because I have a big family and I don't have anything extra to put into it. I wish I did. I'm working on it. Anyway, so the value of a Bitcoin kind of varies. It's still pretty volatile compared to the US dollar. But that's only because the U.S. dollar is being artificially inflated and kind of propped up by the quantitative easing programs that you keep hearing about over the last few years. That the government keeps printing more money and kind of artificially holding the U.S. dollar at a certain value. Now, if that ends up collapsing, digital currencies like Bitcoin and Dogecoin and other similar products, if you will start to look way more appealing because they will be a lot less volatile. What I see happening is in the future, third world nations taking on Bitcoin, which is already starting to happen as they're starting to get access to mobile devices and more internet access and stuff like that. They're starting to favor cryptocurrencies over their own national currency because it is so stable compared to their own currency. You'll see this in a lot of third world countries in Africa and stuff like that.
Sounds like they need some democracy in the US dollar.
That's what we need. We need to go in there and bomb the shit out of them and establish democracy.
We don't bomb people for democracy.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
That's how it's done.
No, it's not. We go in there and kindly talk to them, ask them, hey, look, we can help you out. We'll just put one of our dictators in there.
Yeah, right. So let's do that. Meanwhile, back to Bitcoin. When I first started following this stuff, it was sitting around the $400 mark, $400 mark, meaning you could buy one Bitcoin for about $400 US. Excuse me. Now, I did see a short spike around the 2014 time period where everybody was kind of getting on board with it. It was kind of the new investment opportunity where people were just doubling, tripling in their money. It was just ridiculous. So everybody was getting into it. Well, you start to see a slow decline after that, and it kind of settled in around, I'd say around $500 to $700, give or take. Now,
for about a year there, it looks about $300 a Bitcoin.
Yeah, it dropped for a little while, and God damn it, I wish I would have bought some then. Which I'm kind of thinking we're still in the beginning stages of this, relatively speaking.
So you think the value of it?
I think it's going to go up even more, especially as the U.S. dollar becomes more and more questionable. Mm-hmm. So I guess I better start moving some of my funds.
No, don't freak out. If you want to get into this, one Bitcoin isn't just a singular transaction. A singular Bitcoin can be broken down into 1,000 different transactions. If you want to give 0.005 of that one Bitcoin, do so. It'll have its value. Yeah, and you'll have 0.995 of that Bitcoin left. It's crazy. It can be broken down into an infinite amount, basically, as long as it has some sort of value to somebody.
There is a multi-billion-dollar industry building up around the use of Bitcoin.
Really?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, all the people that are taking it on. And the fact that the source code for Bitcoin is open source, anybody can create. I could go online right now. I could create my own digital currency. And if I can convince enough people to use it, then it will become a competitor to Bitcoin. And that's how you know you have a free market, is when you have competing currencies.
We need to make one. The U of M currency.
The Unframe of mind.
Yes.
I mean, we could try it. At any rate,
I have to think of some cool name.
I just found out, going back to the value of it, is I didn't know this until Lee mentioned it earlier today. The value, I haven't looked into it in a while because I'm like, I can't get into it right now. So I found out it's back up to $1,250. One Bitcoin for $1,250 US to buy one Bitcoin. That's insane.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Now, there's actually a lot of big companies starting to use it. PayPal is starting to process Bitcoin through their website.
Oh, that's so cool.
There are subways that I've heard about are starting to accept it as well. They're making it much easier for people to protect it. You've got digital wallets you can have. You've got your own codes. There's a number of different uses you could have for it where, say I think a lot of musicians are going to start moving this direction. You create online content and people don't want to, it costs a lot of money for people to give away $1 online. It's a lot. But if you have Bitcoin, you can give them just a few cents. You could donate a few cents for a song, or say you saw a podcast you really like Unframe of Mind. You could go on and donate a few cents worth of Bitcoin to our account, and then that would eventually build up. That's just different ways you can support the people you appreciate online.
Well, my question is this actual currency, or is this more like a token system, voucher system kind of? You're taking this and you're just like, okay, this is worth so much, here you go.
Okay, so that being said, the way it works is Bitcoin, you have on the system, you have what's called miners. You have people that will keep running the processes and running the code. It's a lot to try to explain the technicals of it, but basically I could create a mining system on my computer, which allows me. I basically run through, and since there's no central agency to do the processes and make sure everything's legit and verify the transactions and things, that's done through all the miners. All the miners out there, it runs through their computers so they can kind of keep the Bitcoin network running. And what happens is, if you do a certain amount, or you have a certain percentage chance to earn a Bitcoin for doing it. Now, Bitcoin, it's built into the code, will only ever produce X amount of Bitcoins. I think it's like 22 million Bitcoin or some number. I don't remember the number, but it'll only produce a certain amount. It's a closed system. You have no way to print more, thus devaluing everybody else.
So basically, there's besides what's found already, there's 22 million Bitcoins out there across the interwebs, where everybody's trying to look.
Kind of. That's kind of the gist of it, and it just gives people an incentive to run their networks, so that way they have a huge way to keep in operation. Now,
But essentially, I mean, 22 million Bitcoin is worth... Good Lord. It can be broken down into an infinite amount of whatever currency, whatever country you're in. 21 million Bitcoins, okay.
Yeah, 21 million Bitcoins is the end. Now, what happens is the amount of time between when a Bitcoin is awarded will continue to increase as it gets closer. So it's going to take longer and longer to finally get that final Bitcoin, whatever that is.
Ooh. Currently, as of February 6, 2016, there are 15.2 million Bitcoins in circulation of the cap total of 21 million.
Yep. Now, the beauty of it is I can create another competing currency and I can change the cap. I can change how long it takes to be awarded. I can change whatever I want. And if people really like the way it works and they're confident in it and comfortable with it, they can move into it and use it too. So the rules are not set in stone. You can create something even better than this if you feel like it's got holes in it. And there are a lot of companies out there that do create and compete, which is fantastic.
It's pretty cool. Like I said, we need to make our own.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, but we can certainly
Coders,
try.
People out there, let us know.
We can certainly try. There was another huge point I wanted to make, but I completely forgot what it was. Talking about the amount of Bitcoin. Yeah, it happens because, like I said, there's so much. There's a couple episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience that I'll link in the low bar down there. That there's this guy called Antonopoulos is his name. Antonopoulos. Yeah. Antonopoulos. That's the guy. Okay, so Andreas Antonopoulos is a very knowledgeable on the subject, and he does a fantastic job proselytizing the idea of Bitcoin, and he goes on the Joe Rogan Experience a couple times that I've heard so far, kind of updating people on it, and it's probably the best, most condensed version, even better than probably this podcast here. But this is just going to serve as a
stepping stone
introductory to Bitcoin, to kind of give you an idea, a little taste of it, and the idea that you don't have a third party. You don't have any governments controlling it is fantastic. This is truly an anarchic type monetary system.
So it's literally just the market governing it.
Yeah, straight up free market. It's the most free market monetary system you can possibly have.
Free market, yeah.
It's fantastic, and it will be the future of money. And now this thing's done on. The way it's done is it is actually more work to try to hack the system than it is to actually just legitimately mine the Bitcoin yourself. So which is fantastic because who's going to take the time to go through and try to hack more Bitcoin? This is probably the most important thing of this, which I'm still I think having trouble grasping the immensity of it, is the ledger that the digital ledger that this thing is built on, the blockchain. You'll hear it called the blockchain a lot, where each individual transaction that goes through is accounted for, dated, time-stamped. You know exactly when it came through. All the computers on the network will verify it and allow it to go through. So if I give you some Bitcoin, it goes to the network. The network says, yep, check, good, everything looks legit. There's no redundancies. Everything looks, yeah, you did own it. Now you have this, and it's all done in a matter of seconds. That's what I was going to say. There was a big story I heard a long time ago where this millionaire got a bunch of his friends together, and he was introducing them to Bitcoin, and they all sat around the table, and he was pointing out how cost effective it is to transfer money. And if you were to transfer $100,000 from one person to another, there's a lot of banking fees and transaction fees and all that stuff. I don't know the exact percentage, but it's quite a lot of money for the average folk to transfer money like that. Well, he had them all download the app and set up their wallets on their phones, and he went and transferred $100,000 from his account to the guy to his left, and then he had that guy transfer that money to the guy on his left, and so on and so forth, all the way around the table. And by the time it came back to him, you know how much it costed in fees?
3 cents.
About 6 cents.
Holy crap.
About 6 cents. And it was all done instantaneously. You didn't have to wait for the bank to verify it and make sure everything was good and make sure, no, it was all done over the network instantaneously through the blockchain. And there's a permanent record of all that stuff. So you can go back and verify, yeah, this is when it happened. This is who has it. This, I don't think it gives away personal information and things like that, but it does have a digital record of everything.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So one of the implications of the blockchain is the idea that, well, okay, so I create a song, for example. Songs can be placed on the blockchain to show that you own them. I don't know how all this works exactly, but I know that there's more to this blockchain than just the application of currency. The blockchain itself can be used to keep track of property, who owns property,
intellectual rights, all other stuff.
Yeah, I may not have to go through the state to apply for my mortgage or get my title, my deed for the house. That can all be verified on the blockchain that, yeah, this guy owns it right now. Like, it's incredible. I don't know all the applications to it, and I don't think anybody does, but it's a pretty incredible thing that's coming down the pike, and a lot of people don't see it. And one of the ways that I know this is awesome is...
See how excited he is?
Oh, it's so exciting. Anyway, one of the ways I know this is a good thing is because the Chinese government is actively trying to suppress it.
Wow.
They recognize it as a competitor, and they're like, oh, shit, we got to stop this now.
Well, that stops them from devaluing their currency and screwing everybody else's currency up.
Right. So that's one of the huge things coming down the pike. So in the interest of brevity and the fact that I'm not an expert on it, but I am very excited about it, and I think you will be too if you look into it, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up at this point and let you check out those Joe Rogan Experience episodes. They're a little bit more lengthy, but they are totally worth it. Like, totally worth it to give you a pretty well-rounded education on the subject.
While we're at it right now, can we just look up what Dogecoin's worth?
Oh, Dogecoin? Yeah.
Just see what's out there.
Let's try that.
Bitcoin's $12.50.
Coin
$1,250.
Dogecoin price.
It ain't worth. Oh, okay. That's in what, Bitcoin?
Yeah, that's it's worth 0.00000032 Bitcoin. I don't know what that translates to. Okay, so that's one of the problems with Bitcoin right now. One of the huge problems with Bitcoin right now is the fact that you have it's difficult to do the numbers. Everything's done in decimals rather than nice chunks of $1, 1 penny, 1 quarter, stuff like that. And I think once people can get it to the understanding that it's okay, this is what $5 worth of Bitcoin gets me. Just nice, easy to process chunks of the way it's broken down. That's going to help a lot of people out.
Give me that number again.
Oh,
0.0000. Hold on. Times 0.000000.
32.
That breaks down to about. Good Lord, about a 200th of a penny.
Okay, so apparently, apparently Dogecoin is not a very good competitor to Bitcoin at the moment. Bitcoin's really up there on the top of the charts right now, and I think once more people start getting on board and understanding it, even as complicated as it sounds as I'm trying to explain it, to be honest, it is way, way simpler to understand than how the value of your US dollar actually works when you start breaking it down. I still can't wrap my mind around how all that actually works. This one here is pretty straightforward, which is what makes it fantastic. And once they can kind of dumb it down and make it for the average folk that maybe don't want it, maybe, like you don't care how the US dollar works, you just know $5 buys you a sub at Subway. Once you can figure out how much Bitcoin do I need to buy a sub at Subway, maybe then a lot more people will start adopting it.
Here's some pretty good competitors against Bitcoin. You got Litecoin, which is one coin's worth $13.78. Total supply of a little over 24 million. Current value is 331 million of it. Then you got Purecoin, which is about $2 a coin. There's about 21 million of them. 43 million total value right now.
So the fact that there is other competitors out there that are trying to maybe they've done slightly different with their program and done something a little try a different approach or whatever. That's fantastic. That's what you want. You want people to try to come up with something better and continue to inflate your currency rather than deflate it and make it worth more.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So tell me what you think. If you are interested in checking out Bitcoin, I will
do stuff.
If you're interested in checking out more information about Bitcoin, like I said, just check out those links below. Hang on.
Calm yourself.
If you are interested in checking out more about Bitcoin, just check out those links down below, and we will also include our own Bitcoin address as well. And if you want to throw a few shekels our way, just that would be very very awesome, because I don't have any yet, and I'd love to have just a couple. All right, thanks for watching, y'all.
Yeah, have a good one.